Hello, my name is Tara Treaty, and I wrote my final term paper on social policy and aging. First I just want to give a brief definition. Social policy is basically legislation or policy that looks at, those social issues. Poverty, healthcare, overall well-being, that kind of thing. First big social policies in reference to aging were kind of just a lack of policies. So we kind of just continued through the colonial days, the same policies that England had, which were poorhouses that kind of caught the aging population when families and neighbors were not available. Something I found interesting was kind of that shift in the hierarchy of society from really appreciating the elderly to kind of finding them almost as a burden, really based on the textbooks that I used as references. Kind of saw that shift after the Declaration of Independence and with the Industrial Revolution, the lack of need for wisdom from the elderly population. It just really became apparent during that early 1800s shift. So that's where we saw a big kind of change in modern ideals on aging. First big policies came in the 30s. One that actually came up but didn't come to fruition would be the Townsend Plan, which was Francis Townsend kind of proposed a $200 a month pension for anyone over the age of 60. What actually ended up happening was Social Security. So 1935, the New Deal, Roosevelt signed in Social Security kind of as we know it now. Of course, it's been changed a little bit, but for the most part, it was a pension. You work in the system will help you in the long run. So kind of more that personal responsibility than the Townsend Plan, which was basically just free money. So next big era of aging policy was the 1960s. You had Medicare and Medicaid established during that time. Older Americans Act, it was kind of part of Johnson's Great Society, Administration of Aging, the first conference of aging at the White House, kind of important era, social policy, social welfare. The 1980s kind of saw an even further shift into the negativity of aging, which everything I kept seeing was the greedy geezer. So any social ills was kind of blamed on them. There were some cuts made to aging programming, kind of went along with the politics of the era, a very conservative government. So 1990s saw a little more of a shift back to social policy with the Clinton years. Just a note, the boomers started turning 50. FMLA was passed during this time, which was kind of the first identification of families needing support for caring for their aging parents. On the modern era, you saw kind of some tweaks in Medicare in that they had prescription drug plans now that we still have. Medicare gap insurance, kind of like Medicare's not taking care of it all, so we'll tweak it a little bit. The boomers start hitting Social Security. So I think policy on the horizon is going to be a lot of advocacy in aging issues because of that giant population coming up with the baby boomers. Current policy we're looking at is the reauthorization of the Older American Acts as of 2015. And there's always that budget concern of, where are the cuts going to be made, because Medicare and Social Security are the biggest parts of our federal budget. It's needing to address those issues. On a more personal note, Washington State aging policy, we had some improvements. A Silver Alert was passed this year, which was a alert system for wandering adults. There's a joint legislative executive committee on aging and disability that'll propose its plan at the end of this year, so that's kind of exciting. And then looking for alternatives to the Medicaid system, just because it's broken. So in closing, I just wanted to talk a little bit about my personal experience this year with social policy, and I recommend you guys do it as well. Alzheimer's Association Day of Advocacy just was a very eye-opening experience for me. A day on Capitol Hill talking to my representatives. The 23rd District Town Hall meeting was kind of scary to me that there wasn't many aging policy issues brought up. So just kind of know your representatives, know what's coming up, and I look forward to working with you guys on figuring out these issues. So have a great summer, and thank you for all your input on posts. See you next semester.